Do you remember that old song from back in the day by Bobby McFerrin? Don't worry, be happy. Let that be your mantra. Don't worry, be happy. Whatever it is that's weighing you down, if you're an overthinker, whatever it is that's putting you on overtime because you cannot get it out your mind, don't worry about it. Sit it down, stop thinking about it, put it away, and don't think about it anymore. Don't worry, be happy. Focus on your happiness, focus on your energy. Don't let any problem or situation that you're going through weigh you down another minute. Remember that. Don't worry, be happy. It sounds super simple, but it's a way to live. It's a way to think, to just don't worry, be happy. Things have a way of working itself out. There's so many things I bet you can look back on your life that you stressed yourself out. You were like, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And that situation resolved itself. It may not have resolved itself quickly, but when it did resolve itself, there was nothing that you did to make that resolve. Everything worked out in your favor. What did the worrying do? Nothing. All it did was add stress on top of what you were already dealing with to begin with. So just remember that simple mantra, that simple phrase, don't worry, be happy. It's all going to work itself out in the long run. Hey, Queen. Welcome to another episode of the Q Chat. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with the incredibly talented Dallas based designer, Tiffany S. Walker. Tiffany is the creative force behind Pink Lucy. Tiffany shares her journey from her early beginnings in Louisiana in the fashion world to becoming a prominent designer. We'll dive into what inspires her unique creations, the profound impact her mother has had on her burgeoning career, and the meaningful ways in which she gives back to her community through her Pink Academy. So join us as we learn more about Tiffany's story of passion, resilience, and philanthropy.
She's a queen about a business, working hard on a mission. Head high, purpose driven, crown on, never tilted. Go Queen. Go Queen. Go Queen.
So thank you guys for joining another episode of the Key Chat. Today, my very special guest is Miss Tiffany S. Walker. Tiffany just recently celebrated 21 years of her company, Pink Lucy. So we're going to talk about her amazing design company. Also, she has this amazing Pink Academy, which works with young kids from ages 8 to 17. So many things I want to talk to her about. So how you doing today?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing good. So happy to talk with you. Like I told you off camera, I don't know why I didn't wear pink. Pink is I don't know.
Um,
I think I worn it out, so maybe that's why I didn't put it on. But I wanted to start with asking you about your inspiration. I know, like we talked, that you're actually from my home state of Louisiana, from
yes.
Shreveport. So I know I was reading about a lot of things about you. I know your mom was one of the inspirations behind Pink Lucy. So I want you to start and tell us your roots and how you started this company, and also the inspiration with your mother.
Oh, okay. So, like she said, I'm originally from Shreveport, Louisiana, born and raised. And my mother was a great inspiration in my life, as well as my father. I lost my dad when I was 13 years old. My father was in the fashion industry. He modeled professionally. He also did set design, windows displays, like just an artist all the way around. And he was an artist as far as like drawing and painting as well. So I was around it all my life. My mother was a fit model for Neiman Marcus. So I grew up in a household that really pushed creativity and I was always told that any dream that I had that I could completely pursue it. So it wasn't those things, one of those things where my parents was like constantly trying to box me in, like, oh, you need to be a lawyer, you need to be a doctor. It was nothing like that. So growing up in a household that allowed me to be completely who I was and to be a creative just really fueled that even more. And when my father passed away when I was 13 years old, I made a decision at that time that I was going to pursue art and fashion because those were the two things that I loved. And I was going to make sure that I went as far as I possibly could to continue his legacy and also to do what he did not do. I felt like there was so much more that he could have done with all the talent that he had, but he had some things that, were up against him that didn't allow him to fully pursue his goals and his dreams. And I just decided that I wasn't going to be one of those people that said, "Oh, I wish I would have XYZ. Oh, I could have." Like, I never wanted that to be my story. So I made that decision at a very young age. And I made sure that I saw it through completely, from styling my friends to having my room looking like a store display, just anything I could do to hone the crafting skills that I had. And my mother made a pact with me that, okay, I will completely support your dream, but you must go to college and graduate from a 4-year accredited college. She did not want me to go to art school. She wanted me to make sure that I had something to fall back on. And I did just that. I graduated from Louisiana Tech University in Ruston, um, with a degree in fashion merchandising and marketing with a minor in art. So after I graduated, I was like, okay, I did it. I did exactly what you said I had to do. And now I'm ready to pursue my dreams and my goals completely. So I came to her one day and I was like, "Mom, I think I should have a fashion show." She was like, she looked at me, she said, "With what money?" And I was like, "I don't know, like, I'm gonna figure it out." And she was like, "Tiffany, I just put you through school. Like, I don't have it. Like, I think that would be great, but you're gonna have to find the money for that." And I was like, "Mama, don't worry, I got it." So I instantly went to my computer, and I've always been a great writer. So I wrote up these sponsor letters and I sent it to everyone that knew what I wanted to do. I'm talking about my pediatrician, my mom's friends, like high school counselors, everybody, anyone I could think of that I felt like could contribute to this fashion show. I sent out these sponsor letters, and I believe, after I sent those, I had $20 in my bank account. Okay. By the time I sent out all those letters and started getting responses back, I had probably close to $4,000, which was a lot of money back then. And I had my first fashion show. And then after that, I continued to have fashion shows. It became a thing in Shreveport, and I went under the name T. Shamise at the time because Shamise is my middle name.
Mhm.
So it just grew and it grew. And one of my biggest fashion shows had over 1,200 people. And that is how I got my name out. And also how I made sure that people knew exactly what I could do as far as my talents is concerned. So from producing the fashion show to selecting and training the models to doing the full collection. I'm talking about, we would have like 50 pieces, not exaggerating, in this one fashion show, have these different scenes that have different themes. Like, it was crazy. I look back at it and I'm like, how did I do all of this? Like, it was a whole production that was all started by me. And I gave other people, my age and younger, opportunities to, really hone their crafts as well, an opportunity that they would not have had otherwise, because nothing like that was happening in Shreveport. So I created a stage for them, literally, for them to be able to realize their dreams that everyone told us that could not happen because we're in Shreveport, Louisiana, and we proved that that was not the case. And I have seen so many of them like go on to do amazing things, and to know that I had a hand in that, it's just a really good feeling for me. Um, and that's how Pink Lucy was started. It's I mean, I'm talking about from doing plate sales, car washes, you know, raffles, whatever we could do to raise the money for what we were trying to do, you know, within reason. That's what we did. And that was complete bootstrapping and hustling to make it happen.
Wow. That's something else. That is so inspirational. And it's
Thank
beautiful
you.
how your parents, you know, were your motivation and your inspirations. And especially what you said about your father, too, doing the things that he wasn't able to do. Like, that really is something else, too. I also like how you said that you gave a platform for other people. And I know that's something that when, you know, people come up and they create something of their own, I think it's a humbling experience, too, to help others. How important is it for you with your brand that you not only create something great, but like you said, you created something that gave other people a space too? How important is that for you?
That's extremely important to me because when I look back at it, like I did not have anyone that I could really learn from, right? So of course you had, you know, people that may have, you know, sewed and were seamstresses, alteration shops, whatever in Shreveport. But someone that was a fashion designer, that did not exist, right? So here I am trying to make something happen that was completely out of the water for where I was, right? So I just learned that I had to put my resources together, right? And just figure it out. So maybe there's not a designer that I can be an understudy, you know, for, but there are seamstresses and that you know are well seasoned and well versed and know about fabrics and you know cut and fit and pattern making and all of those things. I surrounded myself around those people. Like I would go work in their shops, like just so I could learn from them. No pay. I didn't need pay. That's not what it was about. I needed to learn. So, you know, even when I was working on my shows, like it was an alteration shop that was like, we got some space. Just come in here, you know, we'll help you. And I would cut, I would like do everything there. And they would help me put together, you know, the garments for my fashion show. And that was I can't tell you how amazing that was. So the fact that I had people that reached down to help me is the reason why I am so adamant about making sure that I help as many people as possible. Because if it were not for those people, I would not be where I am today. So I've never forgotten where I came from at all. I can't forget. It
Mhm.
is in the fabric of Pink Lucy. Those people that helped me, you know, because it developed me into the designer that I am today. And that's truly a blessing. So when I see people young or old that's eager about, you know, pursuing their dreams and making something that so many people probably told them they could not do, like I'm like, girl, come on. Because I'm living proof that whatever you want to do, you can do it.
Wow.
So that's what I'm about.
That's something else. And of course, I definitely want to talk to you about the Pink Academy. But I do have one question. So, when you were a child, were you sewing at that age too?
I can't say necessarily sewing. I didn't really start sewing until I think it was about age 14.
Okay.
But you know, as far as like the kid that would be redesigning their the clothes for their dolls and you know, like anything crafty that I could do, that's what I did. Like I was the kid that pretty much stayed in the house. I didn't want to go outside. I wanted to create. That's what made me happy, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm the youngest child of four girls.
Okay.
So my sisters are 13 years to 16, 17 years older than me.
Hmm.
So I was raised like an only child. So I didn't have anybody to play with anyway.
Hmm.
So, you know, those things became the things that I wanted to do to keep myself entertained, you know. And because of that, I got into it even more because that's what that essentially they were my siblings, like the dolls and the fabrics and all that kind of stuff, because and there was nobody else in the household with me, which is me and my mom. My father had passed, my sisters were out of the house. So that's what kept me entertained. And that's also what fueled, the desire to be a creative so much, because I'm like, wow, like I can literally create all of this stuff and use my time wisely. Even as a kid, I'm trying to use my time wisely, to do something that truly gave me enjoyment. And running around outside getting hot and sweaty wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed creating.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great. The reason I was curious because I know, like, I'll see some people that they design, and some of them are self-taught, or some of them may have gone to school to learn how to do it. But it's just such
Yeah.
a fascinating thing to me how people
Oh,
will put clothes together, just
yeah.
learn how to cut patterns, and because when we
Right.
buy stuff, we take that for granted. But there's someone that sat there and modeled that. Because I'm from the old school. Like when I was a kid, if you had like a school dance, you didn't go to the store; you went to a seamstress and you either showed them a picture or you got a pattern,
Right.
and
Right.
you got
The pattern and fabric.
right, or you showed them a picture, and they would direct you to the pattern that would kind of fit the picture you showed them. But that was just my upbringing where you got dresses made. That was just a
Mhm.
regular thing. So I just think that's so cool. People that create that. So I want to ask you, of course, about the Pink Academy. And I know this ties back, I feel like, to you giving back and also helping young people, which is always a commendable thing. So tell us about this Pink Academy. I know it works with children ages 8 to 17, different workshops and things that are age oriented. So can you tell us some more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what a lot of people don't know about me is that I have an educational background as well. I taught the fashion design programs and fashion design and fashion styling for Caddo Parish schools in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I wrote the first fashion styling and makeup artistry program for the state of Louisiana. I was a makeup artist too for MAC Cosmetics. So the whole beauty and fashion thing is just all me. So I had the opportunity to create this curriculum, and the curriculum is taught throughout the state. And to think that I'm the reason that this happened, and I put together the curriculum, I taught other teachers how to implement it into their programs, and I did that for 6 years. 6 years. And, because of the background that I have in education, I understand how important education is. Being a college graduate, also just being a student of life.
Yeah.
I realize how important it is for us to pass down information. And the only way that we can get better at anything is learning the ins and outs of it. And that's the thing about education is opening up your mind, letting you see the possibilities, helping you come up with, you know, whatever you're trying to create or do, or whatever you're trying to pursue. So I'm really passionate about helping children, especially, learn that they don't have to stay within this box. Like it's okay to color outside the lines. It's okay to be completely who you are. It's okay, if you like certain things and your friends doesn't like those things, and if they call you weird, that's okay too. You
Mhm.
know, I was the weird popular girl. Like they considered me as weird because I dressed in ways that they didn't dress. I liked things that they didn't necessarily like, but I was also the girl that when she threw the party, everybody wanted to be there. So those kind of things usually don't work together, but they work for me. And these are still things that are a part of who I am in my business. So I want to give these kids a voice and let them see that a black woman that looks just like them or their mothers or whatever went on to do all of this, and that they can do it too. I didn't have to be a lawyer or a doctor, in order to be successful, right? And however you just define success, right?
Mm.
I didn't have to do what the status quo said that I needed to do. I took a leap of faith, with entrepreneurship. And here I am still standing 21 years later. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. I had all the odds up against me. Father passed away. My mother had lupus. She was on disability. You know, you wouldn't know that anything was wrong with her because she never made any excuses. She still showed up. She did everything that she could do for her family, regardless of her illness. She did not allow that illness to define her. So, because of me seeing that growing up, I don't know what it is to give up, right? I don't know what it looks like to be like, oh, I can't do XYZ because of whatever situation. I have learned because it was modeled to me that you push through whatever you're going through. No matter what it is, you push through. And if you need help, you ask for that help, right? So I want to be the help that these young people need for them to realize that all of your dreams can come true if you put forth the work and the effort in order to achieve it. And the main thing is, in order to achieve certain goals, you have to be educated
Mm.
and you have to know this thing in and out. You have to be a master of it. You have to continue to practice your craft and hone your skills in order to be the best of the best. We can't settle. We got to be the best of the best. That's the only thing that's acceptable.
Mm.
So that is why I decided to start the Peak Academy, because not only is education vitally important to me, seeing our young Black kids, go on to do marvelous things and to live their dreams is very important to me, because my mother made sure that my dreams came true, even on a fixed income,
Wow.
on disability, but somehow she was still my first investor,
Mm.
you know, like that's a blessing. I lost my mom in 2018, and when she passed, before she passed, actually, she had a conversation with me. I don't know if God had put it in her spirit that this was going to happen. I don't know what it was, but out of nowhere, we always talk. We were best friends. So we're on the phone with each other. We talk just like I talk to my girlfriends, right? And she's like, I just want you to know that if anything were to ever happen to me, I expect for you to continue your business,
Mm.
for you to continue to be successful and do all the things that you said you wanted to do and that you planned to do. And I'm going to tell you this: if for any reason you did not do that because you were so depressed about me leaving you, I could never forgive you for that.
Mm.
And she was like, so I'm telling you now that if something happens to me, I expect for you to continue Pink Lucy no matter what. And I'm like, Mama, what are we talking about this? Like, I'm like, I don't want to, because thinking about losing her was just something I never wanted to think about. My mom had lupus for 38 years. 38 years. They call her a medical miracle because they could not believe that this woman was doing so well with this disease. They would have her come speak at medical conferences. She created programs for doctors to better understand their patients. They may have had lower literacy skills. Like, she was a trailblazer. And I got like the fact that she gave me instructions as to how to conduct myself when she passes. Like, so when she passed, and of course, I'm completely devastated, fell into a horrible depression, and just really trying to figure out what is life without her. How do I continue on. Okay, I know she gave me these instructions that I didn't think I was going to have to use so soon, but this is where I'm at. And as I got deeper into this depression, it was like I could hear her voice telling me these things all over again, what she expected. And that is the one thing that got me through. Like, I couldn't let her down. She had did so much for me. I could not let her down. I couldn't let all of this that I worked so hard for, that she made sure that, she supported and did whatever she could with the limited resources that she had. I couldn't lose that based on depression and grief. I couldn't. So I kept fighting. And, I can't lie. I almost lost my business because I couldn't show up anymore. I was out of it. So with that being said, that's what made me continue. And because of that, I do everything in her honor. Every single, and of course it makes me teary-eyed, but I do everything in her honor. Whatever I do, if we have any type of, event, or like I open up a new showroom that's dedicated to her pictures on the wall, there's a plaque with that, states who she is, and, dedicated the entire showroom to her, because this lady is the reason why I'm here.
Wow, that's beautiful. And you definitely lived up to what she wanted for you, creating something amazing.
I didn't have a choice. That
Right.
woman started visiting me in my dreams. Like, that was an expectation, and I had to make sure that I kept my promise. I had to keep my promise.
But it's nothing like having a motivator, even if the motivator is something that's devastating or heartbreaking.
Right.
And sometimes things that break our heart are really leading us to our purpose, no matter what, because each and every one of us have a destiny, and sometimes that destiny, the part of reaching that goal, also has heartache of losing someone, or just something that we may not be able to understand, leads us to our purpose. How do the kids, how are they able to apply? Like, how does it work? Being a part of the academy, like, where the children, like, do they have to apply? Is there a particular?
So basically, they just have to register, and the registration is actually, if you go to my IG, Pink Lucy Official, and you click on the link, there's a link tree that comes up. The application is there, and all the information that you need is also there. And of course, you can always contact our showroom if you need more information. But yeah, and then we offer also classes for adults as well. We have Sipping Souls, where you get to sip wine and sew. I am actually getting ready to do a master class for fashion designers. And that class is basically to help hone skills as far as business is concerned, the business of fashion. But see, there's one thing to have talent, but if you don't know how to properly run a business, it didn't mean anything. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you have to learn the business of fashion in order to stay relevant all of these years, and that class is for anyone that is a designer that is intermediate or advanced, and it's called the executor. So the execution of whatever you're trying to create, being able to have the building blocks in order to do that, because a lot of us have a lot of grand ideas, but we don't know how to properly execute them. So that's what this masterclass that we're getting ready to release, that's what it's about.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I want to ask you too. I know you've worked with a few notable people. I saw you Meg the Stallion. Can you tell us some of the notable people that you work with, and what
let me pull
your most memorable moments too?
So I would say the most memorable. Okay, we worked with Meg the Stallion before she blew up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember like not even being certain of exactly who she was. I'm like, okay, who? And they're like, oh yes, like one of my assistants told me like, oh yeah, she's the hottest thing. Like she's gonna be the hottest thing, you know. And I was like, see, I'm not one of those people that like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna do XYZ because she's not this. Because see, people cannot be that today and be something amazing, you know, years or even months, you know,
Mm-hmm.
from that time. So I've always realized that. So it was looking back at it, the opportunity to actually style her was an amazing opportunity. But I have to keep a list of all of the people that we have worked with because it has been quite a few. So let me pull it up right quick. All right. So we have worked with Big Frida. Love Big Frida
Mm-hmm.
so much. Um, I did some things for Corey LeRae, Shani O'Neill, Brooke Bailey, Malaysia, Erica Dixon, Erica Mena, Delicious, Fantasia, Spinderella, DJ Duffy, um, Trina, Just Brittany, Toya Wright, Yandy, Maya, uh, Tamala Mann, Lola Monroe, Erica of Mary Mary, Tina of Mary Mary, Samore the comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and my clothes were actually sold in Patricia Field before she retired in New York, who was the stylist for Sex in the City. And I was so in love with Sex in the City. So to get that opportunity was just everything for me. So I've worked with a lot of celebs and influencers, but the most memorable thing I think, as far as media is concerned, was being on the OWN network.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a show called Marry Me Now, and I had the opportunity to be on an episode where one of the ladies who were getting married actually got her bridal gown custom made by me. So that was just an unforgettable experience.
Wow, that's something else. And man,
Thank you.
that's just great that you started out in Shreveport,
Yes.
have come to this, and a lot of those people you named, I know they dress amazing. So those are some great, clients to have for sure. So I wanted to end everything by asking you something that is really important. And I know just your story is really inspirational, and I just love not only that you've created something great, but the way you've given back too. So I wanted to ask you, our platform promotes self love. Self love really is the fuel to just have that confidence, the fuel to follow a dream, a fuel to be bigger than what you think your dreams are even capable of. So I wanted to ask you, with all the amazing things that you've done, how do you define self love and what role has it played in your life?
Um, that's a great question. I define self love as making sure that you take care of you, because no one is going to take care of you the way that you take care of you. But in order to take care of you, you have to first put the most importance on yourself. You also have to make sure that you are taking care of yourself physically and spiritually. You got to feed that spirit. Um, Faith is very important to me. My relationship with Christ, I am God fearing. I learned early on that your faith has to be much bigger than your fears. Faith should be here. The fear needs to be right there.
Mm.
And once you master that, you can do everything. in anything. The thing of it is that we have imposter syndrome sometimes. And I have to even, get myself out of it. Like I'll overthink, and instead of doing something because I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, I'll procrastinate. And I have to remind myself constantly, my thing is faith over fear. It's even on my wall to remind. I'm in my office right now, in my showroom. It's on my wall to remind me faith over fear. On my wrist, faith. This is what I live by, faith. Nothing teaches you how to depend solely on the Lord like starting your own business, being an entrepreneur. Some days you don't know how, you don't know where, when, any of it. Things are constantly coming at you, whether it be financially, with staff, products, inventory, everything, clients, and having to deal with all these different personalities. Everything is coming at you, and you have to be able to still show up for your business and take care of things no matter how stressed out you are. And for me, the biggest thing that, I can't even say the biggest thing, the thing that gets me through is prayer and my faith. So, self-love is very important, but God is love. So when you build that relationship with him, you're going to have all the love you need inside of you already. And that love has to be given to you first before you can give it to anybody else.
That's beautiful. That is a beautiful perspective. I absolutely love it. This has been an amazing conversation. Like I said, I love what you're doing. And again, like I told you off camera, it's just so great when I see someone from our home state that has moved on and created something amazing. I just love what you're doing. Before we end everything, though, tell everybody how they can follow you on social media, how they can learn about you.
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram at Pink Lucy Official. My website is shoppinklucy.com. Honestly, we're getting ready to launch a new website because our domain was stolen, and we finally got it back. The original domain, which is Pink Lucy Official. Okay. So it will be launching on next week. But if you go to my Instagram and you click on the link, it's going to take you to the new site. Mm-hmm. So Pink Lucy Official, through and through. Instagram and website.
I love it. Thank you so much for this conversation.
You're welcome.
Again, you are such an inspiration. I know people who are going to either listen or watch this, they're going to get so much information and inspiration, motivation, empowerment. Definitely. And people who are tuning in, just remember, you don't have to let anything stop you. Hold on to your dreams. If you have to change your environment, go ahead and do that. And like she also mentioned too, if someone thinks that you're weird, so what? That means you're different. That means you stand out. And it's a blessing actually to be set aside, because sometimes we're set aside because we have a bigger dream. We can't afford to be like everybody else. And having a different dream and being set aside will lead you to greatness. And also, just like Tiffany mentioned, she processed and built something through grief too. So sometimes things that we don't understand, things that can be heartbreaking, it still is all a part of our master plan. I know sometimes it's hard to understand that, but God does not make mistakes. Everything that happens to us is a part of our ultimate master plan so we can find our purpose in life. So don't give up on your dreams. Don't let anything deter you, and stay motivated and stay inspired. So thank you guys again for tuning into this episode. You can catch this conversation and much more with some amazing women at www.geauxqueen.com. And also remember to be safe and always go love yourself.
She's a queen about a business, working hard on a mission.